Dr. Pepper. By Exxon Phase 4 Gasoline. And by Buick. We welcome you to Aggie Land for the kickoff game for season number 8 of Southwest Conference football here on Raycon. Today, the number 20 Aggies play host to their SEC rivals from LSU. Welcome to Kyle Field and College Station. Dave Barnett, along with former NFL All-Pro defensive lineman Dave Rowe. A 9-3-1 Texas A&M team missing an awful lot of familiar talent from last year. But in year 3 of R.C. Slocum's program, are they rebuilding or are they reloading?
Well, Dave, you would think that they were going to be rebuilding with the loss of talent that they had. However, when you look at 2 outstanding recruiting classes, and then you look at the blue-chip backup players like Sam Adams and Rodney Thomas, I think they're reloading.
One position that Slocum is glad he does not have to replace this year is quarterback. He says he'll build any team around Bucky Richardson.
Oh boy, when I look at Bucky Richardson, I see 2 things. I see confidence, leadership, and another thing that jumps out is 6.9 yards per carry.
Nice storyline, we thought, for LSU. It's a homecoming for their head coach, Curly Hallman. However, as of 2 days ago, wholesale changes for the Tigers. He has replaced literally half his starters from their opener last week, a 31-10 loss at Georgia, including All-SEC receiver Todd Kitchen, All-SEC defensive end Mark Boutain, and starting quarterback Chad Luce. So early in the year, what effect do wholesale changes have?
Well, obviously they can have 2 effects. They can have the positive effect or the negative effect. I think what Curly Hallman is doing is making a statement saying, I want intensity, I didn't get it last week. I want dedication in practice, I didn't get it. So he's made changes. But I just don't see how you can bench 2 All-SEC players and expect to win a football game.
LSU a decided underdog today. However, they've dominated this series since it resumed back in 1986. In fact, the only Aggie win since then right here. Warm and windy at Kyle Field and College Station. A capacity of 70,000. They expect to approach that today. 65,000 and upwards. LSU, one of the all-time great interconference rivals for the Aggies. And time today to check our Southwest Airlines team musts for LSU.
Well, first of all, they have to get off to a quick start. They've got to gain some confidence. Last week they didn't move the ball. Their confidence went right downhill. They had no offensive continuity last week. Couldn't run, couldn't pass. Neither one set each other up. And, of course, Luke started last week. Daigle this week. They need to pick a quarterback and go with them.
All right, how about for R.C. Slocum and Texas A&M?
Well, for Texas A&M, they are the quickest starting team in the nation last year. Outscored their opponents 245 to 107 in the first half, and they need to continue that. They're a very young team. They're going to make mistakes. They only have 7 returning starters. And GHT is Greg Hill time. If you don't know his name now, you'll know it after this game.
Those are Southwest Airlines team musts. And the Aggies set to return the kick. R.C. Slocum's 3rd year as the head man here at College Station. One of the subplots, as you look at the deep backs for the Aggies, Greg Hill and Wilbur Biggins, actually now Rodney Thomas, a late addition as a deep back, is a kicker. LSU sent home their kicker last night, Pedro Suarez. He violated unspecified disciplinary rules, and so this is a true freshman, Matt Hewerkamp, with an awfully strong leg. In high school at Shalimar, Florida, 80% of his kickoffs went through the end zone. And a strong southerly breeze behind him, he booms this one a good 6 yards deep, and Biggins, with his first collegiate effort, has a big return out across the 30-yard line.
I was just about to say, you don't return the ball 6 yards deep in the end zone, but when you bring it out to the 30, that's where the coach says, oh no, way to go.
Great play. And Bucky Richardson, the senior from Baton Rouge. A&M won a heated recruiting war with LSU to gain his services. This time a year ago, the backup to Lance Pappas. Mid-season, it became Bucky's team. They grounded out and became an eye-oriented option attack again, and Greg Hill time begins on first down. Off left tackle for about 3 yards for the redshirt freshman from Dallas Carter. Our NCMB starting offensive lineup for Texas A&M, along with Richardson in the backfield. Hill, the man you're going to hear an awful lot about, and Doug Carter, fullback. Greg Shorb is the tight end. Tony Harrison and Brian Mitchell are the young wideouts. And up front, Wesley Harrison, Dawson Ellisor, the only returning starter, and Alex. And a flag down prior to the snap on second down. Doyle Jackson is our referee today.
I think we saw some movement there on Dexter Wesley, left tackle for A&M.
What would have been 2nd and 7 turns into 2nd and 12. The LSU defense, as we said, a lot of new faces. We're not sure how long they're going to stay in, but people like Brian Madden, late additions on the defensive line. King, Deschantel, a true freshman, Williams, Adams, Young, and Marshall. We expect to see some of the regulars by maybe the second half of the series. A lot of room for Bucky. And a scrambling first down. Corey White chased him out from outside linebacker, first down Aggie.
Boy, that is such a pressure for the defense to answer. When that quarterback can stand back there and just look downfield, has all the time to pass it, no pressure now, just put that ball down. And when you have the running abilities of a Bucky Richardson, you pick up that first down.
Of course, he's a linebacker playing quarterback, really. He's 221 pounds. He's heavier than a lot of the guys who are going to try and tackle him. And 4.5 speed. Ryan Mitchell in motion. Up the middle for a couple. Doug Carter placing Wilson in fullback. Those are some heavy shoes because Robert Wilson went straight to the pros after his junior year.
You have to be able to block in this A&M scheme, though. You have got to be able to get in there, get that linebacker, drive them off the line. So Carter's going, you're right, he got some big shoes to fill.
He's a junior from Thomas Jefferson to Dallas. He is Michael Carter's brother. Michael Laposte, a long-time nose tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. Very cool time again. He's near the first down marker in LSU territory. They list him at 5'11", 190. He admits to being 208. He has done some pumping up during the offseason. He runs a 4.4 40, and he didn't lose any speed, adding 18 pounds.
Well, he's the kind of runner, when he gets the ball, he looks for the hole. When he sees that hole, he just slashes through it.
Aggies bring him up in the eye. They still win one on third down. Inside the 30, if it stands. 18-yard pickup before Corey Raymond, the right corner, brought down Carter. Now we'll see about the indication. It will stand.
That's lining up in the neutral zone.
Offside, defense, line, first down.
I'll tell you, Keith Alex got a great block. He's number 67. We may see him. Well, he really wasn't in that picture, but he got a great block on his tackle. There he is, 67. Watch him drive off and pin him down inside. Now watch the hole. Break through the hole there. Oh, boy. That's a 2+ block.
And right side of the offensive line at Emory, and they've got Ellisor, the returning starter in guard, but they need Alex to be a cornerstone right next to him to tackle him. The Aggies call time. 12 minutes and 38 seconds in the first quarter. A&M taking the opening kickoff and driving steadily on the ground. Nothing early on at Kyle Field at College Station. Glad to be at Kyle Field. We also welcome all of our viewers along the Prime Network. They'll be with us throughout 1991. Every week, our Southwest Conference Game of the Week. After the timeout, 12:38 to go in a scoreless first quarter. And a steady Aggie drive as they look at first down and 10. Option keeper for Richardson. That's at 220 pounds of pure muscle. Turns it up for an extra couple of yards.
You see when he puts his head down, how he just doesn't fall down? He has that leg drive. Words like gazelle will never be used to describe Bucky Richardson. It's more like bull.
Did you see any 2+ blocks on that play? And what is a 2+1.
Well, that's the way they grade offensive linemen. You get a 0 if you perform your actual duty. Then you get a 1 if you block your man. You get a 2 if you nail him, like Keith Alex did on that last play.
Still on the ground. Hill will have a move and a first down. 17-yard line. Greg Hill time, wasting no time unfolding here in the first quarter. And a first check of the Dr. Pepper scoreboard. Number 17, Georgia Tech rolling, as is number 19, Ohio State. The people we talked to here yesterday said that even in Darren Lewis freshman year, there was nowhere approaching the amount of buzz, the anticipation that a coach Greg Hill's giving today.
Absolutely. There's been a media blitz here. And Greg Hill said, I'm not going to be satisfied unless I get 100 yards.
He wanted to clean up a quote that was quoted in an Italian Missouri newspaper saying, I will win the Heisman before I leave. He said, would you change that? I said, I want to win the Heisman. Big difference. And a delay penalty on A&M. A couple of times they have come to the line and not been exactly sure of what they wanted. It cost them a timeout, and here it cost them 5 yards.
Well, if you're a head coach, you do not want to lose 5 yards down in what we call the 4-down area. Anytime you get inside the 30-yard line, that's called 4 downs because you can go on it on 4th down. R.C. Slocum doesn't want to give up a free 5 yards to the defense on a penalty like that.
Harrison right, Mitchell left. On 1st and 15. Texas A&M. Terry Venezuelius, the new placement man, kickoff specialist last year, and he is good, and so is this guy.
Well, first of all, at the point of attack, where the ball is supposed to go through the line, they get a great surge right there. Now he runs through clean. Now what a setup move right there. Get outside, keeps that balance. He has got all the tools that they said he had. There he gets, and now watch again. Nice little move right there. But look at the size of the hole in the line. Set up the backer, get outside, and it's just a jog into the end zone.
Wholesale changes up front for Texas A&M, but no difference in terms of production on their first 1991 drive. And we return after this message from Southwest Airlines. Well, isn't this where the Aggies left off last year? They scored 65 against BYU in the Holiday Bowl. They take the opening kick of 91 and punch it right through the middle of the LSU defense. On a 70-yard drive, 38 of the 70 go to Greg Hill, and it's 7-0. Venezuelius into the win, and this is extremely short from the 17-yard line. And a return up to the 29 for Gary Pegues. A&M scoring drive, covering 8 plays in only 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Hill gets the credit, but right behind him has got to be that new offensive line because he had so many huge holes to pick and choose his way through.
Absolutely. When your offensive line opens up holes like that, they're so wide that you don't even have to make a movement to the hole. You know they're controlling the line of scrimmage.
Well, last week it was Chad Root. This week it's Jesse Daigle, sophomore from Baton Rouge, quarterback. Marcus Carter, the flagger goes in motion, and out of the eye is Odell Beckham out of Marshall, Texas, and he slams off tackle for 5. The LSU offense will line up this way. Beckham and Seamster, another man elevated this week in the backfield. Bishop back at tight end from last week, and Jacob and Carter with Kitchen expected to see some action off the bench. He single-handedly began in last year. Mawai leads the up front end, and a lot of changes there as well. It's our NCNB starting offensive lineup for LSU. Beckham got 5, second and 5. Seamster might have lost one. Eric England from right defensive end. some injury-plagued years. The elbow is about 80-90% for Henry. The linebacking crew, always outstanding here at College Station. Buckley and Coriat lead the way this year. Kevin Smith, already the co-holder of the SWC career interception record, leads the secondary. Third and 6, Daigle to the air, broken up, almost picked off by Ramsey Bradbury, the nickelback. You couldn't ask for a better start by the Aggies.
No, you couldn't. Come out there, you hold them, you get the ball, you're going to get good field position. Excellent reaction there by Bradbury, number 8 to the ball. Once the ball's up in the air, you have to react to it. He almost comes up with the interception.
Let's give credit to Chris Crooms, the strong safety that made the deflection, and Brian Griffin punted for an average of 40 yards in Georgia last week. He has the wind behind it. Biggins, who returned the opening kick from 5 yards deep, stands at his 18. Heavy rush, low spiral. And Biggins wisely to his knees at the 18-yard line. 49 yards with that wing behind him for Griffin. At the conclusion of today's game, David and I will announce the Southwest Airlines player of the game, so please stay with us and keep that in mind. 65,000 or so at Kyle Field today, 7-0, Texas A&M.
This is the same type of start that LSU got last week. Came out, didn't drive the ball, couldn't hold the other team. That's what A&M wants to continue, that same thing. Let them lose their confidence, have a nice long drive in here, and take control of this football game.
Nothing fancy on that first series. Richardson hardly had to think about it here. He keeps it on the ground again to Hill. Cut back to the 33. Darren who? Maybe not yet. Now, Darren Lewis, as R.C. Slocum says, with 5,000 career yards, Greg Hill, when he gets to 5,000, will then be mentioned in the same breath as Darren Lewis. But what a start.
But I thought that was a great comment. He said, compare him to Darren Lewis, where he gets 5,000 yards. But boy, he's making a mark today. Look at that. 5 rushes, over 10 yards a carry.
Cliff Bruce, true freshman from College Station, in as an extra back. Richardson keeps to the 38-yard line. Sean King, outside linebacker, a sophomore from Monroe, Louisiana, making the stop. Bucky said, obviously this is a big game. Anytime you play your hometown team, a school that you almost signed with, but it's especially big today because it's his father's birthday. He would love to present a victory over LSU to his father as a present today. He got 4, 2nd and 6. Quick toss, Harrison has the first down. Looked over, saw the marker, tiptoed his way there. And Harrison, the only scholarship wide receiver who had a catch in his career, perhaps one year. Richardson comes up limping.
Looks as if it's in the ankle area. He's limping on that right leg. Boy, they can't afford to lose him.
Boy, is that an understatement. And Kent Petty, junior from Dallas Lake Highlands, into the game for A&M. It didn't look all that serious. It's easy for us to say from up here. But it looked like the type of thing, if they retape it, he might be right back in. A lot of room up the middle. Doug Carter to pull back to the LSU 30.
And we mentioned a lot about Greg Hill's ability to cut back, but Carter made an excellent cut that time. It was a weak side play going to his left, and he made a tremendous adjustment around the center. Watch the play. It's going to go to his left. Takes it right there, plants, and cuts back right in here around the center's block. Right there. It makes a nice move getting up yardage, getting up field.
Marshall and McCory, the safeties, dragged him down after 26 yards. And another flag on, I believe, delayed game. Not sure if the Aggies got it off before the play clock expired. They are retaping Bucky.
Boy, you think there doesn't fall a hush over top of this crowd? Everybody saw him leave the field limping. They see a new quarterback go in, and everybody's gazing down exactly where we are.
He didn't even want to think about any more miss time because he basically missed half his career coming off a knee injury suffered early in his career against Texas. He's biting off huge chunks on first down, leading 15 here. On the draw, Carter dragged down by Reggie Walker, senior linebacker from New Orleans and an all-academic SEC man, and now Carter slow getting up.
If Reggie Walker doesn't make that tackle, Carter's going for a big chunk. It was a misdirection play. They feel as LSU is guessing a little bit on defense, obviously, and they ran a misdirection play. Action starts one way, the draw comes back against the line, and he tries to find that hole, that seam to the weak side.
Well, again, it looked like an ankle problem, as was the case with Richardson. This obviously much more severe.
Well, I asked R.C. Slocum what his main concern was in this football game, and it was interesting. He said LSU has had one game more than us. They got to practice, or play, I should say, at full speed. Regardless of how much you practice, you never practice at full speed. So that's his big concern today.
LSU's big concern is that A&M got to look at the game film from the Georgia game.
Yeah, they were a little upset about that.
All they had to do was tape the game. It was regionally televised. 131 to 2 in total yards. They've averaged 10 on first down and second and 12. Greg Hill to the 25. That'll leave him about 5 yards short, and that's one of his shorter gains here in the first quarter.
I was just thinking he only made 5 to 6 yards on that carry.
They'll be disappointed. One of the reasons that there's such a buzz around Hill is that he was not all that highly touted coming out of high school. The reason is he didn't transfer to Dallas Carter until the year after they won state in 1988. He said that he should have done it Dallas that year. He transferred the next year. They couldn't go to the playoffs because of the probation. And he was somewhat highly recruited, but Slocum said if he had been a Carter all along, everybody in the country would know about Greg Hill. Aggies have earned their second timeout. And we are barely halfway done in the first quarter. 7:04 remaining, 7-0, Texas A&M. However, early on, with just over 7 minutes to go in the first quarter, they've already got 2 starters on the bench being retaped.
Well, that has to be a big concern. They're controlling the ball on the ground. They're controlling this game. But the loss of 2 starters, ouch.
And as we said at the outset, the one guy that Slocum is glad he didn't have to replace is his quarterback, and all of a sudden, Bucky Richardson, in terms of his return, is still up in the air. He's been out for this entire series. Ken Petty remains the man in control, with Doug Carter also being retaped on the sideline. So the true freshman, Cliff Gross, is the fullback, and Carter is nailed in the backfield this time. William Crowell, true freshman, nose tackle with the stop.
Crowell just guesses right, just comes right around the center, and bam, there he is. That's the first time they've stopped A&M in the backfield all day. They have not stopped them for negative yardage in the game so far.
Look for the Aggie sideline. It's the foot that was springing for Bucky. It's the ankle for Carter. Both probably need to be back. And they go for it on 4th and 7. Penny chased by Boutte. Lets it fly way over the head of the intended receiver, Brian Mitchell, and LSU holds.
Now the difference on that play, if that had been Bucky Richardson, he'd have brought that ball down and run. Once he got around the outside containment, he'd have taken off downfield.
That's a team that needed something good to happen. They needed that defense to stiffen. Now they need Daigle to get something going on offense. They had very limited offense last week. They didn't have a first down in Georgia, in fact, until midway into the second period. By that time, Daigle had come off the bench and replaced Shannon Luke. Did a good job jump-starting him. He bogged down in the second half. Delivery incomplete. Kroom's a big hitter and strong safety against the tight end Harold Bishop.
Well, they call them the Wrecking Crew, and they call them Desert Storm, too. And they really are a storm back in that secondary. They've just got excellent one-on-one and area coverage people. They just can play either way. They can play zone, they can play man-to-man, they can run with anyone.
Daigle is a coach, much more of a sprint-out type passer. He is only 5'11". He's not big enough to drop back, as he's moving 6'2". Look for more is Beckham. And again, the Aggie defense closes in a hurry. Quentin Coriat from inside linebacker with the first contact. He is probably the next great Aggie linebacker if he's not already.
I think he is already. Number 44. He's just one of the great linebackers that this college has turned out.
As a unit, the Sporting News says they're the fourth best in the country coming into this unit. Obviously, that's a very objective type rating. Who really knows? It's hard to measure in terms of a subjective rating. And right there with anybody. 3rd and 9. Too tall, picked up. Patrick Bates, the transfer from UCLA.
Bates almost looks as if he's too big to play back there. 6'4", 224 pounds, but he makes a great reaction to the ball. He reads the quarterback's eyes out in the pocket, picks up the eyes, and you'll see him come in. He's already reacted to the ball. As the ball is thrown right there, the quarterback looks right at the receiver, and you'll see Bates come into your screen right there. That's great safety reaction once the ball is thrown.
A glance off the fingertips of Wesley Jacob. Very, very unpromising start back on for Curly Holman. Gross, 2 or 3 yards at fullback. New tailback is in, Randy Simmons, giving Greg Hill a breather. R.C. Slocum and Curly Holman coached together on this Texas A&M staff for 6 years during the decade of the 80s. Holman then took over at Southern Mississippi. R.C. says he's a good friend, a lot of respect as a person and as a coach, and he is fully expecting this LSU program to turn around. They were 5-6 in Mike Archer's last season last year. 2nd and 8. And caught in the backfield, Wilbert Biggins. They blow him down at the 38-yard line.
I want to tell you, that's an interesting play to me. Why you call it reverse in a situation like that, I don't know. Unless you totally think that you're going to catch it by surprise, but they're blowing them off the line. They're picking up 6-7 yards every time they carry. This is a slow reacting play. You'll see one of the linemen get right there. Boom. That's just too slow a reacting play. There's the knee down. That's why the whistle was blown.
Well, they want to get Wilbert Biggins involved early. They got him returning kicks. They got him at wideout. He was one of the highly touted high school running backs in Texas last year, but you've already seen what type of depth A&M has at that position. And in trouble, and he is dropped back at the 46-yard line. Corey White on a blitz from outside linebacker. The LSU defense stiffening. What's different compared to the first A&M series?
Well, I think 2 things. First of all, you lose your leadership. The timing is different with a new quarterback in there, and your linemen have to make that adjustment to that different cadence call. Obviously, they don't have as much confidence in a Kent Petty as they do Bucky Richardson, but I would really question that reverse. You're blowing them off the line. You're getting 6-7 yards to carry. They're averaging almost 10 yards on that first down. I just keep on running the ball.
The new Aggie punter is David Davis. He played 6-hand football in West Texas at Luke. And Todd Kitchen, the All-SEC return man and wide receiver, who single-handedly beat the Aggies in Baton Rouge last year. And he's going to stay in the game. We expected to see a lot of the guys who were demoted this week, and one by one, Holman working him back in. Not much in the way of field position, however. They start just outside their own 10-yard line. Nagel remains the quarterback. Darrell Williams, Harvey Williams' brother, reminding the first-round pick in Kansas City. In the backfield, along with Odell Beckham. Nagel still has it on the option. He'll keep it. He'll get nailed at the 15. As Bates coming off the interception.
When R.C. Slocum saw Patrick Bates, he said, I thought he was a coach on the other team. He was so big. And he runs through you. That's the mark of a great defensive back in tackling, is when they run through you. Now watch Bates come into your picture. So come right in here, bam. That's just all-out tackling. That's the way you tackle. You don't tackle to somebody, you tackle through them.
Not many 224-pound college safeties, both pro safeties for that matter. Darrell Williams. And Jake Atkinson from inside linebacker leading that Aggie surge. Going to be third and still about 3 for the Tigers.
And if I was Daigle, I would call a real safe play here. I'd look for my tight end delay. I might roll out a little bit to get that run pass option, but I'd get out of all that pressure. I'd try to get outside so I'm not under that pressure. I can pick up my receivers.
Connor right, Jacob left. Flag down as the whistles blow prior to the handoff to Beckham. And procedure, LSU.
Well, that play wasn't going anywhere, so they may be lucky on that. They may get another chance at third down because that play was sniffed out right on the line, and it was going nowhere.
Only 4 penalties last week.
Offense, third down.
Their problems lay elsewhere. They were really shocked that Georgia never noticed a throwing team threw for 305 yards against them. That's the most since 1972 for a Georgia offense, and that's against one of the best secondaries in the nation. Or so we thought. That may have to be rethought.
Well, this is a big down. Third down. You don't want to punt from this deep in your own territory. LSU needs that first down.
There you go, good protection. Caught Kitchen. Needs the 20, first down. And the obvious question, why is this man not starting? He got 19 yards on third down.
I almost thought he made a mistake, though, when he kind of angled back inside the 20. The receiver has to know how many yards he's going to he needs for that first down. Kitchen gets it right here. He just turns up, gets first down, but he kind of bends around. Now, get past the 20 and he picks up yardage. I think his benching he's unbenched. I think he's back now.
Well, the benching is because he fumbled it twice last week. Homer making a statement about the import of hanging onto the ball. That statement lasted less than 1 quarter. Odell Beckham as some holes finally start to open up in the LSU offensive line. Into the secondary, Crooms made the tackle.
You know, Dave, we talked about Kitchen and the effect he has on this team when he's out there playing. Look at this, Mr. Superman in high school.
Could you do more than he did in high school? Football MVP. State champion in basketball, state champion in baseball, regional finalist in tennis, all district in track. Apparently not time for golf.
5 letters.
Not just letters.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
Second and 5, flags again. And Jermaine Williams, last week's fullback starter, handles it for the first time this week. For a team that only had 4 penalties last week, starts off this week very sloppy.
Well, first of all, when you make that many changes, you don't have continuity. Everybody's new. The guard moved over to the tackle moved back up third. He's going to be back up. They just switched all over the place and got new people trying to learn new cadence and new game conditions. And when you get down on that line, it's not like you just get down if you're an offensive lineman and say, okay, the snap counts on 2. You've got to pick up the call by the center. You've got to see the man you're blocking. You have to remember what play it is. There's a lot of thinking that goes on when you line up in an offensive lineman position.
Clock rolls into second and 10. We hear the 1-minute mark in the first quarter. Through the hands of Odell Beckham. Had he held on, probably no gain, and it would still be third and 10. Pressure came that time from Kevin Tucker. Daigle got it off just before Tucker arrived. Tucker off an ankle injury, which has limited his action in the last year or so.
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd come back to Kitchen again. I'd look for him on that crossing pattern that they were successful last time.
He's the only thing close to a go-to receiver they have. And he's wide left. Daigle goes that way. Too tall. Had it man on man. Marlon Haynes, step for step, and Kitchen said, hey, he interfered, and they'll flag Kitchen for his protest.
Oh, that's wrong. You don't do that. I can tell you this, Curly Holman will not like that. You don't go back and make a gesture like that an official. You have to keep your composure. And that's what he's calling him over there, saying never lose your composure.
wasn't catchable. And I didn't see interference even if it had been catchable. We'll take a look here.
Well, I think it was more off the line. You can see the ball's over his fingertips, but I think what Kitchen was saying that he was interfered as he came off the line of scrimmage. See, he doesn't run to this referee here. The one right here makes the no call. He runs all the way back to the one on the line.
Well, that was Derek Frazier, the quarterback, and he says held him on the line. That protest to no avail, and it's 4th and 25 for Brian Griffith.
He's fortunate he didn't get thrown out of the game. I thought for a second there he swung at the official. Kind of giving him a, get out of here.
Aggies play for the return this time with another low spiral and another fumble return effort by Biggins. Through the first wall and near midfield.
Well, if he can catch the ball on the punt, he pick up an extra 2 or 3 seconds.
Well, he's making things happen. Something's happening. It's not always good, but whenever he touches the ball, something is happening for Wilford Biggins.
Well, once you fumble the ball like this, you have to think, I got to get the ball now. Pick up your blocks. He sees right straight up the middle of the field. He's going to pick up the most yardage. That is some nice cutting in there.
True freshman Wilford Biggins out of Aldine MacArthur. Simmons and Gross in the backfield as Petty remains the quarterback. If you just joined us and you're wondering what about Bucky Richardson, well, sprained foot has kept him out about half this quarter after Randy Simmons carries on the first down. And his sprained ankle has kept the starting fullback Doug Carter on the bench for about the last 5 minutes of clock time.
Well, look for A&M to get very basic, get back to that run game that they controlled this first half with. Down there, drive the football, relying on those big linemen, blowing off the line.
Play action, 2nd and 8. Petty wants to go deep. Harrison, first down, inside the 30 of LSU.
I'll tell you, that was not a pretty pass. That ball wobbled all the way. But just an excellent catch. Now, the A&M coaches felt they could throw underneath on LSU. They felt LSU gave too much ground and they could throw the crossing patterns. That wasn't a pretty pass.
That's where Georgia got most of the yardage last week. That was 19 yards for Harrison on the final play of the first quarter. A&M 7-0 over LSU here in College Station. Barnett and Dave Rowe at College Station. We're at 7-0 Texas A&M. And at the end of the first quarter, statistically, all Aggies. In fact, these numbers are going to make it look like they should be ahead by much more than only 7 points. 147-33 total yards. Maybe they should be ahead by more than 7.
Well, I think they definitely should have 14 points. I think that reverse really hurt them because they were driving the ball, had good field position. That's really the only time they really had to give up the football.
12-mile-an-hour south wind behind Ken Petty as the second quarter unfolds. And a huge hole for Randy Simmons. First down, 18-yard line. I agree, he'll be really pretty safety making the tackle.
Hey, when you're a defensive lineman and you can't shed the block, you're locked on. That's what A&M is doing. They're locking on all the LSU defenders up front, and the back just comes up there and just kind of runs around them. You have to have vision to do that. But the LSU players are not shedding the blocks and getting over to where the play is running through.
Simmons with a little setback. He'll get it. 10, 6-yard line. First and goal, A&M. Randy Simmons from McKinney, Texas, right in your face here.
Well, see now, there's a good example right there of not getting rid of the blocks. They're not getting off. LSU, the linemen are not sliding across to the hole. Consequently, they're just running through there straight up. The backs are able to run straight up. They're not even bending over, smashing through.
This LSU secondary is going to be worn out by halftime. They're making all the stops. Simmons, right in. Touchdown.
Well, the first thing you would question is the AstroTurf. Is it slippery or is it too rigid? I was down on the field before the game. I didn't see anything different in the AstroTurf surface.
Well, as they now attend to Randy Simmons, Terry Venetoulias, last year's kickoff specialist, this year handling all the placement duties, makes it 14-0.
So again, you just get behind those big blockers out there. This is just a simple sweep. See guards, both guards pull. Front back goes up in there, full back picks up, and then you just look for the little seam. They push them all by, and he just skips into the end zone. Again, watch it here. Watch him just run. See the defensive lineman not getting rid of the blocks? Right there's the seam. The middle linebacker runs it, just jogs into the hole.
As old as Vince Lombardi's run the daylight theory. Texas A&M averaging 9 yards on first down. And they lead 14-0 after the touchdown run by Randy Simmons. Our should tracer storyline so far in today's game. LSU averaging 3 yards per play. A&M already 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, even despite the absence of Bucky Richardson for most of the game. R.C. Slocum has to be delighted with a 14-0 lead. From 4 yards deep, it's Fuller. Not the correct decision.
That's why you don't run it out from the end zone. You get it out to the 20 for free. You don't have to do anything. You take it that deep, you've got 6 yards to get out of the end zone, and you make it out like he did, about the 13, maybe 16, 17-yard line.
Reveille on a hot September afternoon. A&M scoring drive didn't take long. Neither one has taken even 4 minutes. Simmons pushed it across, 14-0. Fuller stays in the game, and tailback and Jermaine Williams is the fullback. And he slams forward for a couple. Jermaine Williams, one of 6 Williamses on this LSU roster. We'll try as best we can to keep them separate. He's from Donaldsonville, Louisiana. He is the Louisiana High School all-time leading rusher, better than 8,000 yards in his career, and he gained 200 or more yards in 14 straight games in high school.
He'd start for me, too.
Well, they really need him to develop because they just don't have another Harvey Williams on tap at this point in the LSU backfield. They go on the roll. Wesley Jacob has the first down grab out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
That's the way Daigle really needs to throw the ball because, as you mentioned earlier, he's only 5'11". Needs to roll out of that pocket. Get out there where he can look downfield. Here again, rolling weak side. Throws against his body, but again, just kind of squares up, finds his receiver. Nice delivery. Right to the seam, right to his receiver. That's what he needs to do. That's the way he can pass the ball effectively.
Jacob, one of 2 true freshmen to play 2 years ago for LSU. First and 10 from the 30. And another flag.
They have all sides by the center. I thought the center kind of snapped the ball a little bit and then kind of tried to bring it all the way through.
I think that's exactly what happened. LSU looking at a very young A&M team, and among their starters, this is including punters and kickers on their 2-star chart. 13 seniors, 9 juniors, 15 sophomores. That's the class that's really going to be interesting to track through their career here. And 11 freshmen. Of the total roster here at A&M, 60 freshmen and sophomores. They had the tough recruiting year in 1989. They had the probation cloud hanging over them. They signed only 13 people that year. Boy, they made up for it the last couple of years. Cracked hard at the 34-yard line. Vincent Fuller and Quentin Coriat closed on him in a hurry.
I asked Alan Cannon there at the the SID here at A&M. I said, now how many linebackers have been drafted? They like to call themselves Linebacker University. Penn State's always had that so-called name. Every linebacker that has started here since 1985 has been drafted in the NFL.
Is that amazing?
That is amazing. That's what Corian said. He said, I know I'm going to get a chance playing in the NFL if I can start here.
Well, he's rated as the top senior linebacker by Bill Beckman Jr. coming into his final year at A&M. Fuller on the carry. Nose guard Pat Henry on the tackle.
Well, I know it's got to be a happy day for Pat Henry to be in there, to have all the problems he's had. He's had that elbow problem. He had to have it operated on. He hasn't been at full strength, and now all of a sudden he can start to play. He'll gain a lot more confidence in both his arm and his ability as he plays longer and longer. So he is number 98.
Medical redshirt last year. Dislocated his elbow in the Arkansas game 2 years ago. And they had to go back in and clean up some calcium deposits. That cost him all last year. On the sweep, Hill ran into his own man. Jason Smothers, the tight end, unwittingly helping on the tackle. Along with Steve Solari. He transferred from Purdue, sat out last year. They have high hopes for this sophomore from Sugar Land, Willow Ridge.
Okay, if you want to see how to play linebacker, watch Corian on this play. Look at this. Slide, slide, slide. Just keep on sliding. Stay square to the line. Sneak up in there and bam, help make the tackle. You want to keep perpendicular to the line. You want to slide. Don't turn and run. There he is, number 44. You're going to hear a lot about him this year.
Griffith to kick on 4th and 3. And for the first time, he has to deal into a 12-mile-an-hour wind. High snap. Nice hands, brought it down. This is an outstanding kick. Higgins from 20. To the 40. First down, 43-yard line, a 22-yard return.
Anybody who ever returns the ball will tell you the best thing to do is don't run lateral. Find a little seam, get right upfield, and that's what Bagans does. He gets right upfield. Watch this. Once he looks the ball in, that's a high kick. Now watch. Seam. Bam. Explode right up through the hole. Get that plus yardage. Get the ball upfield, and he does a great job.
4.5 speed in the 40, 36-inch vertical leap. All the makings of a great wide receiver. They never have to line him up in the backfield. Jeff Granger is the quarterback for Texas A&M. And Greg Hill on the carry. This is the third quarterback the Aggies have played here in the first half. And boy, is there buzz about this guy. He is a redshirt freshman from Orangefield in southeast Texas. He is maybe a better baseball prospect than a football prospect. He was on the USA Pan American team with a 90-mile-an-hour left-handed fastball slider combination. They're not sure at all whether they'll have it for 4 years in the football program because they expect an awful lot of major league interest after his junior year in the baseball draft. He says he's willing to go both ways for as long as he can make it viable here at Texas A&M. Hill's going to be close, I think, about a yard short on second down. 14-0 Texas A&M as we pause for station identification from Kyle Field and College Station. Almost 70,000 on hand, 14-0 Texas A&M. About 5,000 made the trip from LSU. They have been noticeably silent, however, with 9-11 to play first half. Keep slamming away with the tailback, and Hill has the first down. He needed only one. He got about 7.
Well, I've been right down in that position as defensive lineman many, many times, and I know what it's like when you can't get rid of that offensive lineman, and that back just cuts on, and you're smothered by him. Boy, it makes for a long day. It's going to be a long day unless LSU starts to slant their linemen, get them free of the blocks, and get them into the holes where the attack is.
Word now from the A&M benches, Doug Carter will not return. Sprained ankle will cost him the rest of the day. Long count by Granger. Inside the 5-yard line, Ryan Matthews. 41 yards.
This is an all sneak in like he was going to blitz. He audibleized to it, saw Matthews out in the flat, and he was wide open. The safety tried to come over and cover him late. Again, see him looking over there? He calls the audible. There's the audible. See the offensive lineman moving? That's the audible now. Look, he doesn't look anywhere else. He flips it up. The safety comes over trying to cover, and you see he's late getting there.
That's not bad. Your third college play, you had the presence of mind to audibleize into one-on-one coverage, and your first collegiate pass goes for 41 yards. Flags fly prior to the snap, and we'll have a mark off against the Aggies. Well, Bucky Richardson,
he may be able to sit down for the rest of the day.
He may not have to worry about the rest of the day.
I've been R.C. Slocum's very candid about his future. He said, we'll approach that when we get to it. He said, he and I have talked about it. He said, he loves baseball, loves football. He said, right now, Coach, I'm content to do both.
So first and goal from the 7. 8:04 in the half. And looking to go up 3 touchdowns. Greg Hill. The Aggie sweep is the deadly touchdown.
Just murder out there. A short got a great block. The tight end on that play. He drove his man off the line of scrimmage.
Greg Hill with his second touchdown of the half. Aggies favored by 2 touchdowns and looking a great deal better than that despite all the first half injuries. And Julius adds another extra point and it's 21-0.
2 things again. The great block by the tight end, 86 short. He's on the left of your screen. You probably won't see it until he gets in there, but he drives his man off the line right there. He's got him nailed. Now Hill kind of bends in, and then all of a sudden dips on out to the corner.
That's a 2+ block. Short got 2 Tigers out of the way. A&M 21-0. And we return after this message from Southwest Airlines. Greg Hill, you're a freshman. You're playing your first half of college. Carried 11 times. You had 79 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So I say, well, nothing would make me happier than to get 100. I'm not going to be satisfied.
He didn't say 100 by halftime. He was going to get there.
Boy, made a great run on that time. Just timing was perfect. Run out there, just use that speed, slow down. All of a sudden, you see the corner and just burst inside. It was just a marvelous run.
Julius sticks this one halfway to the Kolache Festival in Caldwell. That's about 20 miles from here. And the Tigers will start from their own 20. Next week on Raycom and Prime Network, the Aggies visit the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, and we'll have the first of this season's Southwest Airlines Southwest Conference trivia questions. We look forward to being with you for the Aggies and the Golden Hurricane from Skelly Stadium in Tulsa next week. Meanwhile, Curly Holman has tried the shock therapy of changing half the starting lineups. Obviously, that has not helped. And he's now got to throw on first down. Marcus Carter out of the tackle. Nice job, and he'll be very close for a first down at the 30.
Well, I think Curly Holman's got to get back into his offensive driving technique and philosophy. He's kind of lost it. They tried just about everything they could try. Now you got to get back to the basics. You got to get back to try to run and get first downs, get some confidence back in your line.
3 outstanding seasons at Southern Miss. Out of the bold picture, Mike Archer's replacement at LSU are looking straight at an 0-2 start. James Jacquet is the new tailback. Flags down. Jacquet held to a gain of maybe 2 if the play stands.
You see the difference on the play there. You see those linemen slipping those blocks, getting off, and just smashing it in the hole.
It won't stand. Motion LSU. I've got to think the lack of continuity, so many different faces being mixed in back and forth for LSU is the reason we're seeing so many flags here in the first half.
I think you're absolutely right. But I still go back to this point,
Motion,
David, that is,
decline, second down.
difference is that 18 of these 22 starters for LSU beat Texas A&M last year. Don't think that wasn't a concern to the staff.
However, we should point out that, as Aggie fans remember, Darren Lewis was ejected in the second quarter of that game. Incident along the sideline, and in a low-scoring game, Tom Keeshan then took over, had a 79-yard touchdown on a 2-yard pass that he ran the last 77 yards, and then a big punt return. Daigle at the 32, out of bounds. Coriat chased him. And Daigle pops back up. He'll look at 3rd and 8.
Well, watch Daigle get flushed out of the pocket. Now, by the time he gets back and sets up, look, pressure already. Now, once you put your head down, there's no way you're going to pull that ball back up and pass it. He's just trying to get to the sidelines, get out of bounds.
Well, he does not have Kitchen in on 3rd and 8. Carter inside of Jacob, wide left. Carl Hampton, just having a picture, wide right. And Daigle unloads with a flag down. Intended for Jacob. And that might not be a flag. That might be a towel he dropped. And it is 4th down.
You have no time, Dave. You sit back in that pocket. Quarterbacks get what they call happy feet. You don't get planted in there. Your feet start jitterbugging around. He just is not standing back there with any confidence in delivering the ball. His man was open on the play, just didn't have time to get it to him.
Well, we'll see what happens with Mr. Biggins this time. Griffiths had a whale in the first half punting. He saw an average of nearly 50 yards per kick. Aggies go for the block, and Buckley almost got it. This time cleanly handled by Biggins to the 42. And A&M again with outstanding field position. 6 minutes, 43 seconds in the first half of an Aggie blowout. Boy, R.C. Slocum obviously didn't want to see anybody hurt. He has had to use some youth because of injuries earlier than he anticipated, but he's got to be just overwhelmed by what he's seeing from these freshmen.
When your third-team quarterback comes in and throws a pass like he did, you've got depth. And once you have depth, you can play football all day long.
So Jeff Bridger,
know if I bring Bucky Richardson back, Dave.
Well, and Kent Petty, you know, he was effective while he was in, but Granger remains in. And they take over to the 42-yard line. They have all the room they wanted, straight up the middle. Ivory Hilliard making the tackle on Greg Hillies. That much closer to the 100-yard mark. That's 12 carries, 86 yards here in the first half.
I don't even think he envisioned having 100 yards at halftime. Maybe he really did mean that he's going to win Heisman this year.
Well, this in the backfield that had Randy Simmons, a senior who averaged nearly 8 yards per carry last year, and Keith McAfee injured because of a hamstring hold. He's not expected to play this week, and maybe not next week. Hill has the first down. This was supposed to be McAfee or Simmons coming into their own as a senior, but Hill as a freshman may keep them on the bench except for spot duty.
Well, I like the way Hill runs. Obviously, with the yardage, that's an easy thing to say. But when he sees the hole, he sees that opening, he just flies through it.
Boy, they had just grounded out very methodically. 13 first down. They mixed in the pass precisely the way Slocum told us yesterday he wants to set up the run. Only when it's there, and not as the major part of his attack. 4 yards on first down for him.
I thought it was interesting, too, what he said yesterday about the change in the philosophy on offense next year after Bucky Richardson leaves. He said, we won't be the great option team that we've been with Bucky. He said, we'll be more of a strong running, power running play team, a little bit of pass mixed up because we've got a quarterback that can throw the ball much better than Bucky can.
Good snap. And out of bounds at the 5-yard line is Rodney Thomas. One of the 2 top recruits in the state of Texas last year out of Little Moss takes it down to 1st and goal.
I realize, too, this is your third team running back. Again, quick, just out the outside, use that speed, 38-yard run.
Swinging game. R.C. Slocum has closed practices right up through yesterday's workout in shorts and sweats, and he says, I've got some things in store I don't want Curly Holman to know about. That, obviously, is what he had in mind. Hill back in, going for his 3rd touchdown in the first half, and he didn't quite get there. He's about a foot shy. Hilliard and Boutte on the tackle for LSU. Very unhappy, that type of razzle-dazzle in the first half.
You know, it's amazing as a player, you love things like that. The offensive line, they love to do gadgets like that because most times they're just smack-face football, just power straight ahead. They love to see reverses, swinging gates, the old Pomerowski play, those type of things. They just get a real joy out of that.
If he scores, he's at the century mark. Timeout, LSU. They've got more than a few things to discuss. 4:41 in the first half. And if the Aggies go up 28-0, so long. This thing's over, if it's not already. From the start today, the musts that we discussed for Texas A&M have all come into play here. They have dominated. They haven't made very many mistakes in the youth, and it's obviously been GHD.
Yes, it certainly has. They've done everything right. That's why they're leading 21-0. Conversely, for LSU, it's been just they haven't done anything right.
They did not get a quick start. They have not gained any confidence or continuity. Hard to put it on Daigle. We haven't seen Luke here in the first half because no one has performed.
Yeah, you can't blame a quarterback when your offensive team's not running. A lot of people look to the quarterback, but the quarterback is only as good as his line blocking gives him time to pass, and the running backs are only as good as that line opening up the holes.
2nd and a foot. Keeper, Granger, touchdown.
When you've got an offensive line that's controlling the line of scrimmage.
27-0. Venetoulias for his 4th extra point. Good look at the new narrower goalposts in college football this year. And Venetoulias is 4 for 4.
Just leave those big offensive linemen blow through there. See the center getting off well. They're just controlling it. They're just a surge there of maroon jerseys, just blowing them off the line.
Well, we saw Bucky Richardson for about half the first quarter. He sprained his foot. We were told, we haven't been told differently, that he would probably be able to return. But if you're R.C. Slocum, do you want to mess with Richardson with things flowing so smoothly for Jeff Granger? Do you just let Bucky take the rest of the day off?
If it's any kind of an injury that will last more than 2 or 3 days, no. You just sit him down there and you rest him. You use Granger. We know that Aggie tradition. Every time they score, the girls get kissed in the stands. They're going to wear out those girls' lips.
Oh, no. They come ready for that.
But they like high-scoring games.
Always wondered why schools that have the tradition of the mascot doing push-ups don't go to this tradition. This is something to look forward to. Carter from the 8. Reached at the 15. Reggie Graham made the special teams hit for A&M.
Here's the 12th man, Jay Elliott. Watch him go down. You know the 12th man tradition here. He's just flying down too.
Now they've changed from having an all walk-on unit to having one 12th man wearing number 12, representing the 12th man tradition. And that's Jay Elliott today. Well, we see a new quarterback. Not surprisingly, Chad Luker got a crack from the 15-yard line, replacing Jesse Daigle. He is the better passer of the two, and he throws it away. Intercepted by interception against LSU.
This was supposed to be a quick pass, and Luke never got set on the play. He got some pressure, but he just never got his feet set, and he kind of hesitated 2 or 3 times to throw the ball. Let's watch him again. Watch him here. It's a quick play out to the flat here. He just never kind of gets set. See right there? He kind of throws as he's going back under pressure. Great reaction. There's the penalty afterwards, the piling on.
Delia Jr. from Lamar, 2-time All-State man there. 2-year letterman here. Second Tiger turnover sets up the Aggies. First and goal at the 5-yard line with 4:27 to play in the half. Bidding to go up 35-0. Rose and Hill split backs behind Jeff Granger. Hill is right, left hand, in the flat ball, Cliff Rose for the touchdown. You can't go home again.
Well, I can tell you for Curly Holman, he's looking for people right now. He says, I want people that are going to be winners. I'm looking for people that are not going to quit in this situation. But he's got an avalanche coming down on him.
They're going to wear out Terry Benetoulis. 5 out of 5. 35-0.
Boy, great fake into the line there by Granger to hold him. Watch right here. Great fake. Right there. Boom. He comes back out. Just a little short roll. Left-hander. Everybody was thinking run that. Well, when you establish the run, then you can go run, pass, whatever you want, and you really keep the defense off guard.
Freshman to freshman there. Granger redshirted last year. Rose a true freshman from A&M Consolidated High School near College Station. Hill a freshman. Rodney Thomas a freshman. Wilbert Biggins a freshman. Mercy. The rest of the Southwest Conference has some long days in store the next 3 or 4 years. It hasn't bothered Terry Benetoulis today, but you've probably become aware that that is the NFL distance between uprights. The old college distance narrowed from 23.4 to 18.6 this year. I don't see it having a whole lot of impact in the games I've seen so far.
Well, I think it has impact when you get in close and try that short field goal because the angle is much different. But you're right, it hasn't affected him a whole lot. Interesting, I saw where Roman Anderson practices on a 9-yard wide goalpost. 9 feet wide goalpost. That's a nice way to practice. You make that, it must look like that other one spread out as wide as can be when he kicks a regular one.
Well, they need a holder because of the breeze, and Benetoulis will pin Fuller in the corner of the end zone. 4:22 in the first half. LSU trailing 35-0. This, of course, is one of the proudest traditions in the SEC. This is not a program that is used to being down, being blown out in the first half, nor will they ever get used to it.
Well, I think Holman had quite a job to come in. He had to change his entire team around from what it had been under Mike Archer. They said it was not a disciplined team. People were late for meetings. They were late for practice. They just had that lackadaisical attitude. So he had to come in and completely change the composure of this team.
Luke remains the quarterback. At the 10-yard line, James Jaquette buried by Mark Wheeler.
Now I'll tell you, as a defensive lineman, this is a blast if you're a defensive lineman. You can see right there, Wheeler, just 97, just comes around the center, all the way around the backside and makes the tackle. It's just so much fun to play out there when you're a defensive lineman. You got a big lead like this. If you mess up one time, like you take a pass rush and you're not supposed to, nothing happens. It doesn't bother you. Coaches don't complain about it.
Nothing new for the Aggies. Every year since '85, they're top 3 in the conference, top 19 in the country defensively. Wood sacked at the 12. Marcus Buckley, the outside linebacker from formerly Eastern Hill. They figure Buckley to be the next great blitzing outside linebacker here. stand walking to a seat in the stadium. It really gives me perspective on the athletic talents I and my friends have been blessed with.
Oh, 2 minutes and 57 seconds left in this half. The fans here in Aggieland know that they're going to get great field position. They'll get the ball in midfield again.
Griffith from his own end zone. Higgins near midfield. And again, Higgins has trouble, fumbles it away, flag down. LSU has the recovery. Mike Garrett fell on it for the Tigers, but we'll see what the indication is.
Well, Dave, I can tell you, when they bring him over the sideline, they're going to tell him this. There's sometimes you have got to look the ball in and fair catch. That was not a long enough punt. The coverage was down there in his face, and he just tried to run up and catch it on the run. Sometimes you'd have to do the wise thing. Fair catch, they would have had the ball on about the 44, 45-yard line.
Everybody takes a deep breath whenever Wilbur Higgins steps on the field here in the first half. The good, the bad, the talent, and the inexperience. We've seen it all. And the indication is against the Aggies.
This is going to be about the best field position I think I've seen LSU have all day long.
Receiving team, decline, first down.
Well, again, Dave, you've got to know when to just fair catch this. Watch how quickly the coverage gets in. Now, he's making an effort to catch it, but you'll see yellow shirts right in the picture, right there. See the yellow shirts already coming in? That's a ball that you want to fair catch and just take the great field position. There you are, the white shirts all over the place.
Plenty of time, 2:49 in the first half. Newton swung and dropped. Wheeler with the sack. Jason Atkinson wasn't far behind. Chad Luke, unlike Daigle, is getting teed off on because the Aggies know he's throwing every down.
No place to go. Look at this hit. Bam. Well, that's the way they teach you to tackle. Just wrap them arms, put that helmet right on the spot, and they are really teeing off now.
Loss of 6, second and 16. Flags on what may be the late game, LSU.
I thought I saw Neely point to someone, one of the offensive backs, moving. Yes, that's what it is. That's the call. I saw Neely just at the last second point say, wait a minute, he's moving. But the only thing they haven't done is make the calls. That ran back and forth.
Well, so much for momentum. Recover a fumble punt. First down, sack. Second down, 5-yard marker. Even the breaks, backing up on the line. That's the 6th penalty after 4 balls last week in Georgia. Short drop this time, and an overthrown behind Todd Kitchen. You have the right idea. He was one-on-one with Dylan Frazier, but he threw it over the wrong shoulder. And I've got to think if there's any way they're going to get back in the game, Kitchen's got to be right in the middle of it.
Well, I certainly think so, and I think that's a safe pass. If you get Kitchen one-on-one, he may be able to break one. He's really their speed out at the wideouts. And Luke laid that ball up. He's going to have to throw those lofting passes because he just doesn't have the time to sit back there and pick out his receivers.
Well, the play that broke it open last year in this game was just a 2-yard out, and then his maneuverability after the catch is what took him the rest of the 79-yard. We haven't seen him run that play yet. It'll be surprising. Luke scrambling. And out of bounds at the 48-yard line on 3rd down. He would still need 5 on 4th down. Kerry Vincent from right corner chased him out. We pause briefly for station identification. This is Raycom. With Dave Rowe, Dave Barnett from Kyle Fieldman College Station, where it's an Aggie runaway. 35-0 with a minute 44 in the first half, and on 4th down and 6, Ryan Griffith will kick it away. LSU unable to capitalize on the break. Wilbur Higgins breathing easier after fumbling the punt near midfield.
he stumbles over top of the ball. Boy, that'll cause you to pull off your hair, pull your hat off, pull your hair out.
I don't know that one man can do as much coaching as is required in a game like this. Ken Petty back in at quarterback with a minute 16. Jeff Ranger in for 2 series and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, this is Thomas. Second effort for about 9 yards. Rodney Thomas played on back-to-back Class 2A state champions at Groveton, gained better than 8,000 yards, scored 111 touchdowns, and among other teams turned down LSU to sign with the Aggies.
He's 13. Boy, standing back there, they've got talent so deep.
This time they wrap him up. And it may be close. He needed the 30 for the first down. 36 seconds. Rodney Young made the tackle. Might need a measurement.
I think if you're a running back, I think you want to come to Texas A&M. Because I look at what they've done in the rushing department last year. Of course, set that record rushing. If you're a great running back, you know you're going to get a chance to run the football here. And as R.C. Slocum told us, the good running backs, they answer the call. They don't care about who's there. They just come out and they say, hey, I want my chance. You're just going to give me one.
Well, we asked him that yesterday. We said, do you think rival recruiters hit Rodney Thomas with the argument that you wouldn't get playing time with Greg Hill coming in as a redshirt freshman? So Rodney Thomas doesn't care. He just wants to contribute. He figures, give me a chance, I'll find a way to contribute. And R.C. Slocum here in the first half giving him a chance. As time runs out mercifully on LSU. Texas A&M 35-0 at halftime in College Station. Southwest Conference football on Rincon is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. By Budweiser, remember friends know when to save when. By Norwegian Cruise Line. By Exxon. By Buick. And by the Texas Department of Highways. Drive safely. Don't wreck your life. If you're an Aggie fan, you didn't picture this in your wildest dreams. 35-0 over your interconference rivals from the SEC, Louisiana State. Greg Hill, 99 yards and 2 touchdowns, the individual star. Among a galaxy of young stars in this first half for Texas A&M. We'll have halftime activities from Kyle Field in a moment.
SWCA. The Aggies lead it here 35-0. Now let's go down to the field and listen to the Fighting Texas Aggie Band.
be this easy for Texas A&M. They won't be, but what a start for what is definitely a reloading program. We asked that question at the top. I think we've already seen our answer.
I think the rebuilding is over if there was any chance of rebuilding. They are obviously reloaded, and they are reloaded strong. I'm really surprised, Dave. We're going to see a lot of new faces in this lineup. And that's a great time for Texas A&M because they build that depth in that chart. If somebody gets hurt, you've got someone with playing experience who can come in and take over.
If Ranger get his war paint on, he'll probably see much more action here in the second half. 5,000 or so LSU fans, one who can manage a smile. We'll have to tee it up again as Matt Hewerkamp, the true freshman kicker, kicking for Pedro Suarez, who was sent home after violating team rules last night. You keep your football in perspective, I guess. Those folks at least.
Well, this is a terrible situation if you're an LSU player. You're down 35-0. You say, well, where do we go from here? But I'll tell you this. First thing they talked about in that locker room was having pride, because we know the LSU tradition over the number of years they've had great teams. So they'll play with pride in the second half.
Wilbert Biggins again has trouble with the handle. Wisely to a knee, 6 yards deep. Aggies go from their 20. Kent Petty back in at quarterback as we look at the Aggies' possessions in the first half. First drive, 8 plays and a touchdown. 3 drives later, touchdown, 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 touchdown.
Look at the field position. Only one time did they get the ball inside their own 40-yard line. That's quite a tribute to the defense. The defense was able to hold LSU and get the ball back in great field position.
Not sure what the discussion is, but LSU has a flag down at their 41, and they were offsides. So after the deep kick, the Aggies will make them do it again.
I wish I had $1 for every time I've seen this exact situation where you come back and you've just run a 60-yard sprint, 70-yard sprint downfield. They down the ball. Now you have to kick it over, and those guys are gasping for air. Coaches will tell you, take a deep breath, walk around a little bit, take your time setting the ball up, because you've got another 70-yard sprint. And most times, the return team gets a great return on that second kick.
Not a team with a lot of experience in being blown out. Last year, among 6 losses, they lost by 21 to Alabama, by 39 to Florida State. The year before, they lost to the year before that, actually, 41 points to Miami of Florida. They're in for a who's looking at that the way this one is started. Biggins just about nailed at the 20, lost the ball again, and the Tigers first and goal at the 5-yard line. I don't think we'll see Mr. Biggins back there anymore today. Juan Sendoya, the man who caused the fumble. And for LSU, it's Corey Raymond with the recovery.
I want to tell you, Biggins almost had his head taken off on this play. When he ran up into the wedge, someone came from the left side. Let's see if you can see it on the right side of your screen. See him just about takes his head off. Right there. Boom. Well, that's a big-time hit.
Mike Steptoe, who sent Sendoya, we should give Steptoe the credit. Raymond knocked out at the 5-yard line. We'll see if LSU can get anything going. On first down, they might get 2, but no more. Odell Beckham will be given the 4-yard line.
I can tell you, for a defense, you love to be in this situation. If they score, you're still up 28 points. But right now in that defensive huddle, they're saying, hey, let's not let them score. Everybody give a little bit extra. This is when you really tell what your defense is like.
Rice looking for their first road non-conference win since Greg Goldsmith was in high school. Early 60s. Second and goal from the 4. Daigle, the quarterback, all alone. Caught, touchdown, Darrell Williams.
That's a heads-up play by Daigle. Fake into the line, come out almost on just on like a little fake boot out strong side. Had someone in his face, just gathers composure, found his receiver open.
saw both LSU quarterbacks in the first half. Daigle, the first to get the Tigers on the board. And Darrell last year wore number 32. He had switched to his brother Harvey's number 22 for his senior year. Both heavily recruited by A&M out of Hempstead, Texas. 35-6. Ewer Camp for the extra point. Out of Daigle's hold, and he is good.
Again, Dave, great fake into the line there by Daigle to hold him right there. He fakes in. Now what? Just kind of hide that ball a little bit. Come out strong side. Now he gets pressure strong side. Just pulls up and finds his receiver out in the flat wide open.
Hindsight's always 20/20, but the Aggies now wish they hadn't let them kick the ball off again. It's 35-7. I'm a little bit surprised, but Wilbert Viggins right back there. Now, he has only cleanly handled one kick, and he's recovered. He's been back for punts and kickoffs in his first collegiate game. Are you surprised that Slocum is putting him right back out there?
Well, this is an easy time to get experience. So when you're 35-7, it's a real easy time. So I think that it's a good move for him. They'll tell him Monday when they start looking at these films and breaking them down, you've got to look the ball in more. Now, you can tell him all you want, but until he gets the actual kick to him, that's when you learn.
Does the right thing here. This is an easy second guess, but it's such an important role. What do you think about a freshman returning kicks in his very first game?
Well, that is a little bit surprising. I look for the more, just, I guess you'd say, well, I'm looking for a word to describe him. I look for the more conservative approach on those type plays. I want to get out that short 20-yard line.
Kent Petty, one of 3 A&M quarterbacks to see first half action. Junior from Dallas Lake Highlands. Lucky Richardson and Doug Carter both being X-ray. Neither has returned since they went out with ankle and foot injuries in the first half. Greg Hill pancakes at the 27-yard line. Good gain, and then Wayne Williams sent it right back the other way. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Network. Near 70,000. We almost have a full house at Kyle Field in College Station this afternoon. They love what they've seen so far. Their Aggies on top 35-7. Second down and 3. Greg Hill again. This time number 30. He'll be close, but not quite for the first down. Scott Wharton, the nose guard, 64 on the tackle, and Hill has already met his goal. He is over 100 yards.
Well, now you start second guessing and say, how long do you leave him in there? You're up 35-7. I think you leave him in there through the third quarter, pull him out the fourth quarter, so he doesn't get an injury.
Aggies send Brian Fisher wide left, 2 tight ends. 1 third down. Hill will lose a couple. Sean King, the outside linebacker, on the tackle. And the LSU defense making some halftime adjustments.
Well, they did make some halftime adjustments, but I think they're playing with a lot more emotion now. They've been thoroughly embarrassed. I'm sure they got torn to shreds in that locker room. They all took a deep look at each other and said, hey, we got to play for something. Let's play for pride. These are the 2 best stands that they've made in the entire game.
Kitchen with a nice return to give them a little more to work with. He stands at his 35. David Davis for the second time to punt it away. Junior squad man from Luke, Texas. Good kick inside the 30. And nothing there for Kitchen. He's wrapped up by Otis Neely. A 44-yard kick and only a 3-yard return. And the Tigers will go from their 31. Next week, we've got the Aggies at Tulsa here on Raycom and Prime Network. Check your local listings as the Aggies and Tulsa will do battle at Skelly Stadium. Tulsa, pretty impressive start. They're 2-0. A.J. Rubley back at quarterback for the Golden Hurricane under Dave Rader. The Aggies apparently will have ahead of steam and a 1-0 record, although we've got a lot of football yet to play. Odell Beckham tries to turn the corner. pursuit led by Chris Cruz from strong safety.
Well, Dave, I can promise you, if you were in that Aggie huddle right now, you'd be hearing, hey, we got to stop this momentum. You don't give up. You don't stop pouring it on until at least the end of the third quarter. People often say, well, aren't you running up to score? But you don't stop until at least the end of the third quarter. Because a lot of teams have come back from deficits like this.
Daigle on the roll, a lot of time. Kitchen on the second effort is going to be very close, but I don't think has enough for the first down. And he took the hard way that time. He could have easily stepped out. Instead, he lowered his shoulder and might have given him an extra 2 or 3 feet, but he really got punished by Crooms along that sideline.
Well, I understand that Kitchen is the kind of guy, he's the kind of guy to climb a wall for you. That was what was, to me, was the real surprise when Curly Holman pulled him, because Kitchen is one of those gung-ho players. I mean, he gives it everything he has on every play.
Big play for the Tigers, 3rd and a yard. And Beckham, I don't think got it. The placement is everything. He needed about the 41 and a half. I don't know if he got it.
Boy, it's going to be awfully close. He got stood up straight in the hole. He tried to make a little side slant back to the strong side, but there was just nowhere to go. Watch him when he gets hit. He's straight up. He doesn't get a chance to bend over. You see how he's straight up? Atkinson in there just stood right in his face.
Well, they'll measure, but
if the lines are straight,
he looks to be about 6 inches short.
If the lines are straight on the field, which they usually are in AstroTurf, he's going to be short. Ooh.
Right again.
Well, what's an inch here or there? For LSU, it's a first down. I was kind of looking at the flag across the way there, and the guy had it about halfway, like you said, around the 41.5-yard line.
LSU will take it. 11-10 and counting in the third quarter. They lead this whole time series 26-15-3. They won 4 of the last 5. Pass batted down at the line. It's just the 7th meeting at College Station between these two, and the Aggies lead here 4-1 and 1 tie. They discontinued the series between 76 and 85, picked it back up in 86. And the Tigers have dominated, including last year's 17-8 victory in Baton Rouge. And for the Aggies, it's really their version of Texas-Oklahoma. The recruiting wars in Southeast Texas, which arguably is the most fertile recruiting turf in America, always feature A&M head-to-head against LSU. It will not hurt them if they hang on to this blowout margin when it comes to signing time next February. Deep and way too deep intended for Kitchen, and it will be 3rd down.
I think Daigle's got to go to a little safer play than that. You can throw it up one time to keep those backs honest, but right now he's got to be thinking first downs to keep a drive alive. If they're able to score here, their motions just continue.
Speaking of recruiting, 21 of the 23 Aggie recruits this year in the national top 100. Daigle roll out way over the head of Marcus Carter, and the Aggie defense holds again. He has not looked as sharp through the air as he did when he first came off the bench at Georgia last week. And I wouldn't be surprised if Holman goes back to Luke as a starter and Daigle off the bench next week, because from what we've seen here, Daigle appears to be more suited to that role. And that's an LSU tradition. They have always played a second quarterback.
That was a huge series for A&M. I think they had to take a lot of the wind out of the sails of LSU. LSU had got 2 great breaks. They held them. Now they're going to take back over on their offense, take control back in this football game.
And playing for the return, Griffith really gets into this one, and that will be a touchback. 58 off the toe of Brian Griffith. We return after this from Southwest Airlines. A&M ready to go from their 20 up 35-7.
is going to come right at you, but watch the cut that Hill makes once he gets to the line. All the way back over top of the center. His linemen are just blowing him off, and he's got that great vision backside to see that. Now, you don't think of that with a freshman. I want to be honest. You don't get that till you get experience. But Hill has that great vision backside, finds that little hole, and able to get those feet down and make that cut.
The natural comparison is to Darren Lewis. Both are Dallas starter, both here at A&M. The difference is quickness. Hill is quite a bit faster, flat out pushed. Similar moves, similar power, Lewis a little bit bigger. But R.C. Slocum says in terms of ultimate potential, Greg Hill could be every bit as good as Darren Lewis.
And I think there was a great smoke screen here at Texas A&M about Darren Lewis's speed. I just don't think he had the speed. I think that's probably his biggest holdback as far as a pro career. Just doesn't have that flat out 4.5, 4.6 speed.
But he didn't need it, evidently. The only 5,000-yard rusher in Southwest Conference history. Play action, flags down. Ready, rolling, looking. And nice footwork by Brian Mitchell, bringing that one in at the 46-yard line. It would be a first down, however, I think it's coming back for a holding against A&M.
Now, let me tell you, you're going to see a longer than 10-yard penalty because where the flag was, if it is holding, it's from the point of the infraction. That was about 6 or 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. Watch again. I think you're going to see the hold right there in the middle. Now watch him, see if he doesn't pull him down right here. That's the hold. Now that's about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Then you tack on the additional 10 yards. That's the rule change this year. So you got a 15-yard penalty instead of a 10-yard penalty.
Chris Dowson, the A&M center, with a hold of William Crowell that time. Colorado with the early 7-0 lead on Baylor. And is that ever a big game for the Southwest Conference? All day for Petty, lets it fly for Harrison in double coverage and broke it up. Ray Adams made the deflection. Adams, whose cousin Sam was a New England Patriot. Sam Adams,
Never heard that name before. I played with Sam Adams in New England, and boy, did he have a talented son who came here. At any other school, he'd probably be starting. Here, he's a backup, but they're saying he has everything that it takes to be a first-team player.
We showed you that recruiting list a moment ago, 21 of their 23 signings on somebody's top 100 list. At the very top, that man, Sam Adams, Jr. And at this point, they don't need it, but boy, you will hear that name before he's done. Harrison almost a stretching grab at the 40. Ball is slightly overthrown. It'll be 4th down and 19.
Now, I asked Sam Adams Sr. about his son. He said, Dave, he must have gotten this talent from his mom. He said, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's tougher. Of course, Sam was an offensive guard for New England Patriots for, I guess Sam probably played 10, 12 years. His son's a defensive lineman. And I said, where did he get this speed? He said, had to be from his mom.
I think he's a little modest, don't you?
Yeah, Sam was a wonderful player. He was one of the hardest linemen to rush against because he had a great base.
Kitchen has had no room today, and Crooms chases him down, a net loss of 8 yards on the return. Big day for Chris Crooms on special teams and in strong safety.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You always think of coverage teams as using the players who don't start. However, with A&M, they use the starters. You see Crooms, he's a tackler. He's a starting defensive safety. He's on the special teams.
Kitchen back on the bench. Daigle remains the quarterback. Jaquette and Jermaine Williams behind him in the eye. And Daigle delivers. Jermaine Williams on the circle pattern out of the backfield for 16 yards.
Well, that was a good solid pass by Daigle. Got his face down, stepped into the ball, and just put it right on the mark.
Well, 1958. The last time the Tigers opened the season with 2 straight road games, all they did that year was win the national championship. The Chinese Bandits, who featured a guy named Gus Kitchen, Tom's father, a member of that national Tigers of a sudden, there is some running room up the middle.
Well, there's another guy in that 58 team. I'll never forget when I played with the Saints to start my career. Every Halloween night, they would run the famous Billy Cannon run. I bet they still run it today.
Broke 7 tackles. And a little-known tidbit on that story is the radio engineer was trying to turn up the volume of the radio announcer to get him above the crowd noise, and he turned it the wrong way. He turned it down. So much of that historic call is lost forever into history. They go deep, picked off. Patrick Bates has his second of the day. Flag down. Bates down at the 33. Patrick Bates pitched that ball off to Kevin Smith, and we'll see what the flags are about.
Well, I think you're going to find a clip on the play. I think the play will stand. There was a clip on the return. But Patrick Bates playing that center field position, reading that quarterback's eyes. The quarterback locks on his wide receiver. Bates comes over and just plays it perfect. You know, a lot of people have compared him to Atwater, and he does. He looks a lot like him, the same height, but maybe even stronger.
Flip it is. See if we can pick it up.
Now watch the quarterback lock in on his receiver over this side. Pulls up, sets up. Now see, he's looking at him all the way. Bates, just standing back there playing free safety, just picks up the ball. Now you'll see the clip.
In the running back, fourth down.
You won't see the clip, but you see a little lateral here. But doesn't Bates look a lot like Atwater, that tall safety position?
When Slocum first met Patrick Bates, as you said, he thought he was one of the Galveston Bowl High School assistant coaches. He started talking to him, said, "You're a little big to be a safety, aren't you?" Bates immediately reels off 6 guys his size playing safety in the NFL. He was ready for that question. Transfer from UCLA, making an early impact as the starting free safety here at A&M. 2 interceptions today. Right to the quarterback. GHT. Greg Hill up near midfield. Here, and Greg Hill has 157 for the day.
See those 2 cuts right there? Someone right in his face, cuts wide again, and he's outside before LSU can even recover. Whenever that running back runs up in the middle like that, it draws those linebackers in. If he's able to plant, get outside, that's where he picks up the big yardage.
We'll get a breather, and Rodney Thomas is the new tailback. Vigilant motion. First man through is Gross. The Tigers lost a helmet.
I thought there was a great story about Hill, about his little sister and how he came to Texas A&M. He got a letter from Miami, from what I understand, and he and his friends were sitting there saying, "All right, Miami." And all of a sudden, his little 6-year-old sister said, "Am I not going to be able to see you play?" And he said, "I knew I was going to stay nearby home."
Well, what does he do for an encore? You know, people can expect this every week from him. Thomas looking back home. And another A&M first down, and another Tiger loses a helmet again. Something symbolic about that. On back-to-back play.
Well, you want to see what the safeties are looking at? They're looking at running backs coming right down their throat. Look at the hole open up. You drive the center man off, you kick the guard outside, you take them the way they want. I think I could run up in that hole.
You know, as amazing as this is, I think you could run up there. Anthony Marshall has saved 4 or 5 touchdowns today. Where would they be without him at free safety? 315 rushing yards. A&M off the Southwest Conference record year on the ground last year. They have not missed a beat. With Gross on the carry. Thomas out, Hill back in on his quest for 200 yards.
Maybe he's getting an extra 100 just in case next week he doesn't get to play a whole lot.
I'm trying to remember, and I don't even know if there is such a record as most yards gained in a collegiate debut. I don't recall off the top of my head any first game producing a 200-yard effort by anyone. Not that it hasn't happened, but I don't remember. 5.5 minutes in the third quarter. Hill back to work. off by Corey White. Something that he's had to contend with is his newfound status as a celebrity. Now you say, well, any Aggie player is a celebrity here on campus. But multiply that for him. There's been so much anticipation based on his practices as a redshirt last year, based on his 165 yards in the spring game. He's signing autographs and plaques. He said, I got to try to keep my perspective about you because I haven't done anything today. Well, he has now. Gross. Inside the 15. 22 yards from Granger.
That line just continues to give the quarterback time. It is so easy when you can mix up your plays and you've got a big lead and you've got that offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage. There's nobody putting a lot of pressure. They blitzed everybody on this play. See everybody getting picked up? Look at them just sitting out there, just nowhere, just toss it out there.
Big Cliff Gross, 5'11", 220, runs a 4.640. Athletic enough to return Ponson High School, where he gained 3,000 yards his last 2 years. Flags down as the Aggies come to the line of scrimmage. Baylor on the board at Boulder. South Coast Conference watchers looked at this game and Baylor, Colorado, and they said, boy, A&M and Baylor have really got to carry the banner for the conference because Texas and Houston have stumbled out of the game.
A lot of people say those two games were the image rebuilding games.
Well, what about Miami-Houston? How surprised were you?
I was very surprised. I really was. I thought Houston would be able to move the ball up and down the field. I knew the talent that Miami had, the speed that they had at the wideouts and skill positions, but they totally got Houston out of the sink and they just were not able to recover.
LSU closing the middle a little bit better. And they hold again to 182 on 1st and 15. Juan Sendoya made the tackle for Curly Holland. There was so much about the run and shoot. Does this mean the formation that John Jenkins says is unstoppable is just a fraud? I don't think it does, because I think if Miami had been running the run and shoot, they would have won 40-10. On the other hand, if Houston had been in the single wing, they would have lost 40-10. I think the formation had nothing to do with that. That was talent versus talent producing that type of goal. Granger into the end zone for Biggs, underthrown. And the Aggie fans screaming for contact. Ivory Hilliard had the one-on-one coverage. No flag, third down.
You know, one note about that game with Miami-Houston, I thought that David Klingler kept his composure better than any player I've seen. A lot of people said, oh, he lost the Heisman on that particular game. But I thought he kept his composure because everybody looks at the quarterback. He's the central figure in that run and shoot. But I thought his composure was just marvelous during a game when nothing was going right.
Well, that's the first incompletion by Granger. 3rd and 14. Tigers show blitz. Here they come. Granger got it off. And off the left hand of Gross. Tried to bring it in one-handed. Couldn't do it. Granger hurried that time by Corey White. Sakubi exchanges greetings.
Granger's just a freshman. He steps right up in his face and says, hey, give me one more chance. That's the way quarterbacks are. The great quarterbacks are the ones that they get me down. They can throw 5 interceptions. And they say, just give me one more chance, and I think I can take us down the field and score, Coach.
Venetoulias did not attempt any kicks as a freshman. In high school, he was 23 for 28. Out of the hole to Petty, this one will be 34 yards. Angled right to left. Plenty of leg into the wind, and he's good. The sophomore from Deer Park has been perfect today, and so have the Aggies.
Okay, the sophistication of football even is in the blocking sleds. There's Tommy Tate, one of our cameramen, on the sled. He's putting in his neck.
Only Tommy Tate can come up with up-close and personal photography like that. And that's probably a good thing.
Well, we call him Scoop Tate for reasons that we can't go into.
Fuller and Carter deep for LSU, now down 38-7 with 3:18 to play. pleased to welcome those of you joining us on Prime Network and its nationwide family of regional sports cable networks. Scoring drive for the Aggies, leading to the Venetoulias 34-yard field goal, covered 9 plays and 75 yards. He is 5 for 5 on extra points and 1 for 1 on field goals. And Chad Luke back in at quarterback for LSU. His first collegiate start was against the Aggies last year. He was 10 out of 13 through the air, 152 yards. Led the 17-8 Tiger victory. What the difference a year makes. Wesley Jacob dragged out of bounds at the 45-yard line by Ramsey Bradbury. 17 yards on the connection from Chad Luke.
This is a nice play by Luke. He's getting back to the basics. A little quick out, picks up a receiver there, gets a good block, picks up yardage. This is what you have to do when you're down 38-7. You have to find the basics. You've got to say, okay, this game for all intent and purposes is out of reach, but next week is another week. We need to start building from right here. Run proper plays, run good plays.
A&M calls time. Might not have had enough men on the field of the right division of positions on the field. Right now, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Raycom Network. In the third quarter at Kyle Field, Dave Barnett, Dave Rowe, 38-7, Texas A&M. In their latest season opener in a number of years, and one of the most successful season openers ever. In no way, shape, or form did they expect this type of a rout. 35-0 halftime lead over a team with the history, the tradition that the LSU Tigers have. But they're used to knocking off the greats. Since 1985, they've played 5 eventual Heisman Trophy winners, and they've come away with 4 victories in the Cotton Bowl over Bo Jackson, the Cotton Bowl over Tim Brown and Notre Dame, over Andre Ware in Houston 2 years ago, last year the Holiday Bowl over Ty Detmer and BYU. James Jacquet battles for a couple. Sophomore from St. Martinsville, Louisiana. Former Louisiana Offensive Player of the Year as a senior in high school. And we thought we'd be close to a sold-out house, and we are. About 4,000 under capacity at Kyle Field.
I don't know where those empty seats are. I've seen them swaying out there, just going back and forth, and looks as if every seat is filled. Just a beautiful crowd on a beautiful day.
Coming, Tigers pick it up. Luke way over Carl Hinkton. That'll be third down. Something else that comes into play here for LSU, a team that's used to playing night games on grass. They're playing at 85-degree heat on AstroTurf in the afternoon.
Now, a lot of people wonder how much heat that turf gets off. You can always count an extra 10 to 15 degrees on the surface because the grass actually reflects the sun and builds up heat. I can tell you, the hottest thing out there are your feet when you play.
Two wideouts right, Hank to the left, on third down. Luke on the roll, delivers, caught. Marcus Carter will be denied first down yardage. Marlon Haynes came over from strong safety along with Jason Atkinson. LSU's got to go for it.
I believe they do too. Interesting play there. When you're a defensive corner, you're out there by yourself. You tackle high. You try to hold on. You don't go low trying to make that cut block. You hold on high and wait for your help to get there. And help was on the way.
If you're ever going to go for it, you're at the right spot on the field and you're down 31 points with 17 minutes of football to play. Why wouldn't you go for it here?
Well, I think you're too concerned that the other team's going to drive the ball down your throat. But I agree with you, Dave. I think they should go for it. They may try to draw them off sides or something or have a trick play, but A&M won't fall for that.
Well, Griffith nails a beauty. Way over Derek Frazier back there instead of Biggins this time. And all they gain is 28 yards.
That's exactly what the gain is. When you bring it out to the 20-yard line, you've got basically a 28-yard punt. And he didn't even kick it for the corner. He kicked it right down down the middle long.
Well, a little hard to figure. Hudson Curly Holman, 44 years of age, 1970 graduate of Texas A&M. And made the all-decade team of the 60s. They're a half-time and older. What we expected to see in defensive battle. Rice trying for their first road non-conference win since the early 60s. 6-2 with Texas A&M. Here we have 2:07 to go in the third. Granger remains the quarterback. Hill remains the tailback. Beats off another big chunk, 19 more yards. And another touchdown, saving tackle by Anthony Marshall.
He doesn't even have to slow down. When he gets the ball deep in the backfield, watch this, quarterback runs down, hands it to him deep. Look at this, doesn't even have to slow down, just avoids one, knows exactly what he wants to do, gets upfield. He's closing in on your 200. You may have a good point there. We're going to have to check the record books for that. I don't remember any running back starting off with 200 yards his first day.
Or even 180. That's amazing. And again, at the conclusion of today's game, David and I will announce the Southwest Airlines player of the game. I wonder who that was.
Well, now I want to give fairness to this defensive unit of Texas A&M. Well, they played great football. The secondary, the linebackers, we talked about what great units they are. I think the defensive line has played extremely well. So I know with 180 yards his first day.
With all due respect,
I'm a defensive player, you see.
he's not going to be a defensive player.
So if you really want to know, stay tuned and we'll tell you.
Inside the minute, third quarter. Granger in trouble. Great athlete. He'll keep it. He needs midfield for the first down. He knew exactly where to put the foot on the bound.
That's presence. You're coming out there, you look at that flag, you know exactly how far you got to get. You don't come up short. You run right at that flag. Here you'll see him rolling out again. Once he puts the ball away right here, this is run all the way. Look at him. You're going to see him look right down at that little flag. Right there, I got to get. First down.
Some freshmen are never really freshmen.
He's not. He hasn't made any mistakes today. Start off with what, a 40-yard pass his first play?
He still got it on the bootleg. And Reggie Walker chases him out after a gain of a couple. Aggie fans think perhaps a late hit, not so. I don't think that's what Granger had in mind there. Everybody went one way, he was left blind on the other side.
I looked down there, and Greg Hill turned around and put his arms out like, Coach, I went the right way, and he didn't give me the ball.
That's a tough sell, isn't it? I was right, 10 other guys were wrong. Granger could have been at somebody's minor league organization today. And if he were there, he'd be touted as a surefire major leaguer. How many left-handers with his fastball and his slider? Tight end makes the catch. Second effort for the first down. That's James McKeon, the third team tight end brought down by Marshall.
Now, you talk about Granger being a freshman. I want to tell you, that was not a freshman throw. He got stuck in the chest. He saw it all the way in his face. Watch the quarterback here. He sees that ball. He sees that coming right down his throat, and he just held it to the last second before he picked up the tight end.
That's the first reception by an Aggie tight end today. Greg Shorp and Steve Sabraves are the first two on a depth chart, but it's McKeon making the grab. First and 10, Tiger 38. On what might be the final play of the third quarter. Greg Hill, more big yardage inside the 30. First down at the 26.
I'll tell you, if I'm R.C. Slocum, I'm going to give my offensive line, I'm going to say, listen, don't even practice tomorrow. Just take the day off. I want you just to relax, enjoy yourselves, and don't do anything different.
Look at how he's dangling that left shoulder. That is not a good sign.
If you run off like that, you've jammed the shoulder.
That's the end of the third quarter. Well, away word 3. 38. LSU fans waving the white flag. Down 31 points. They got to tip their hat to the Aggies through 3 quarters. A&M up 35-0 at halftime. Total yardage now near 500 yards. But the big question is, how is Greg Hill? Came off holding that left shoulder very gingerly. Rodney Thomas checks in at tailback. First down and 10. Here's Thomas. Look at it carry. Wayne Williams about 8 yards. Looked like a good open field hit by Williams. 8 yards later, Thomas is finally brought down.
What happened is Williams, when he came up, he broke down, but he had nothing behind him, and he just got carried back by Thomas. There's
I don't know that we'll see him again.
No, you don't bring him back in this situation. A lot of people would say, hey, he's got 194 yards unofficially. Would you bring him back in to get 200? No way. Don't bring him back in.
Well, it's a good sign. They don't have his shoulder pads off. They don't have ice on him. Might have just been something popping out of the joint. Maybe his back hinge. Second effort, Gross to the 15.
Well, if he gets back in this football game, he's going to have to do a lot of he's looking on the sideline saying, hey, coach, I'm fine. But I just don't think you bring him back in this situation.
No question, especially when you look at the number of lip-offs the A&M side has seen today. That's the only negative. They have seen Richardson lip off with a bad foot in the first quarter, Doug Carter with a bad ankle, Randy Simmons with an ankle, and now Greg Hill. That's 4 backfield contributors. Ranger straight ahead. Powers inside the 10, first and goal.
Wait a minute now. Powers to the right. He got hit right on the line of scrimmage. That's just sloppy tackling. You can't let a quarterback do this. Watch this. He gets hit right there. Boom. Now he gets right there. Gets hit again. Then picks up 7-8 yards. That's just sloppy tackling.
Ivory Hilliard and Wayne Williams finally dragged him down. First and goal.
I bet that's the first time he's ever been described as Powers. Quarterbacks don't think of power.
Thomas, 5-yard line, cuts it up, leaps, touchdown. The first, but definitely not the last career touchdown for Rodney Thomas. 7 carries, 76 yards in his collegiate debut. He's lost in the Greg Hill time glory, but what a day he's had. Minnetonka's offering another extra point. 45-7.
Granger made a great adjustment on that play. He really was behind the play. Was able to reach out. Watch Granger's play. He's really behind here. Reaches out. Right there. Reaches out and makes the play. He's a little bit behind the play. Has to make that adjustment. But you're right. Watch Thomas. Over the top.
Any other day, it would be the Rodney Thomas story. We'll return after this from Southwest Airlines. Here's the Shit Tracer storyline so far in today's game. LSU has got nothing through the air, even less on the ground. A&M near 400 yards on the ground, but Simmons, Hill, Richardson, and Carter have all left at one time or another with injuries. 13-10 still to play. It's 45-7. Texas A&M. 8 yards deep. Vincent Fuller for the touchback. And we just got some really surprising calls from the A&M bench.
That Greg Hill will be back. That's a shock to me. Now, if he's not injured, he sure can. Well, look at him there. He looks awful nice. You were right. They didn't put any ice on his shoulder. They didn't even take his shoulder pads off.
Here's your story all afternoon. 8 yards on first down. Almost gets him another first down. LSU about halfway. Chad Booth, the quarterback, sacked at the 13.
This is just a swarm. Everybody just coming inside. Nice move there by 58 Tackleman. That's a swim move inside. What you do is you actually, like Toreador, you come on them, and what you do is you actually swim over. You bring that left arm over top and swim inside. That's a pro move.
Miami did that all day, all night to Houston. Loss of 5, second and 15. Atkinson coming on the blitz. Loops it over to John Kent, who is written out of bounds at the 19. Yeah, they call Kevin Smith's name much today. He needs one interception to become the all-time Southwest Conference career interception leader. They have thrown away from him today, and that's probably going to be his story all year long.
What a marvelous corner. Reading some of the things that he says in the papers leads me to believe that he really knows how to play the game of corner. He said he entices the quarterback to try to bring him into his area and throw. He makes the receiver think that he's open. He's got great closing speed. He says, I try to guess what the pattern's going to be. I study film. He does all the things that a great cornerback does.
Way over Kitchen. Smith and Marlon Higgins, the nearest defenders. Kevin Smith says about 70% of the time, I think I can predict what pattern the wideout's going to run against me.
But what he does is he looks at the way the wideout lines up on him. He looks at his hips when he comes off the line. He sees that he's cheating inside. He knows that he's going to run an out pattern. He studies his eyes when he breaks out of the huddle. He does, like I said, he does all the things that you think a great cornerback would do.
Wilbur Wiggins back in after being replaced earlier by Derek Frazier. Handles this one cleanly and then reverses field. Big hit by Rodney Young. Timeout. 12:10 to play. A&M leads by 38. Basketball joins us now. Tony Peroni making the transition from head coaching at Creighton to Texas A&M. What do you think of A&M atmosphere? I'm sure you heard a lot about it before you took the job. Now you're seeing it firsthand.
Dave, you can't understand it until you're here. I went to the Yell practice last night and was mesmerized for an hour. It's incredible. We need to capture a little bit of it for basketball.
How do you do that? What's step one?
We beg for some support. We need to prove we're going to have a good program, Dave, and we're going to. I'm excited about it.
Stick around there. A couple more questions for you. 12:10 to play in the game. A&M from the 43-yard line. Granger remains the quarterback. Greg Hill is back in at tailback, and that should put him over 200 yards. A new A&M freshman single-game rushing record.
Well, I would hope that's his last play. You can see the crowd, they think it is too. Again, I understand trying to get him over 200 yards, and that's certainly a milestone, but I just don't think you take a chance.
Only the 10th Aggie running back ever to gain 200 yards. He does it first time out of the game.
What does he do next week?
That's a good question. He got 9. Rodney Thomas slams to the 42. He's got the first down. Tony Peroni, you've got a lot of holes to fill on your roster. How do you start to fill every gap?
And Dave, we can't do it that way. We need to really start off bringing in some quality young people and build for the consistency of the program over an extended period of time. I have a lifelong contract here, so I'm not worried about that.
You've also got to do arena, which I guess 3 years down the road will be online, 14,000 seats. That's your
2 years, Dave. 2 years finish, yes, sir.
Granger underthrows. The intended receiver, Gross. Second and 10. Can you get Granger, you think, to be a 3-sport man?
Well, I understand that he's a heck of a quarter miler also.
4-sport man.
Yeah, we'd love to have. I'd like a couple of these linemen to come in and take over the middle like Dave over here. We'd like to get him down in the court also.
Do you have a goal in terms of time? At what point do you figure you'll have all the pieces in place?
I don't know, Dave. It's going to take us some time. We're just going to do it slowly and do it over an extended period of time.
Hey, Coach, can you ask me what's a lifelong contract? I'm sitting over here thinking, what's a lifelong contract? How long are you going to live?
I was waiting for somebody to comment. I hope John David Crow heard that comment. I think what we're trying to do here is going to take some time, and the administration is really program over a consistency factor, and I think that's the right way to do it.
So let me ask you about the lifelong contract. That's something I heard. The first time I heard it was with Spike Dykes out at Texas Tech. Does it give you the ability not to have to cut the corners and take the easy way out?
I think you have to just do things the right way, Dave. If you're comfortable with that, that's the way to do it.
Benjamin changing the play again. First time he did that, he went for 41 yards. This time on the slant in. The completion to the 37-yard line for Chris Sanders. Aggies have a lot of openings at wide receiver. Sanders with his first catch.
This is just a slant in. It's a quick audible. Anytime you slant in, that receiver's got his chest to the quarterback, and it's just a big target. If you've got a quarterback that can drill the ball in there, we know Granger throws a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. He threw another strike. 5 of 8, 89 yards. Not bad for the third-team quarterback listed to start the game.
Third down and 4 for Granger. He's not been shy about changing the play. He goes time here. Ball was snapped, but they will rule the timeout was called before the snap, and that stops the clock at 10 minutes and 14 seconds to go. We'll take it with them. 45-7 A&M here at College Station. Third and 4 after the A&M timeout. Tony Baroni, A&M basketball coach, with us. When do you get underway? What day is the first day of practice?
We start October 15th, Dave. That's our official starting date. We're in some preseason conditioning now, but that's when we can actually go out on the court.
Do you do the 12:01 a.m. first practice deal?
I never liked that. I thought it took too much out of the kids for a couple of days.
Granger long count, third and 4. Bobble, Thomas lost it. Still loose, and the Aggies hang on, but they lose one. It'll be 4th and 4. Recovery by Jeff Jones, the backup left tackle. What's your philosophy as we look at the replay of the recovery by Jones?
He just never got the handle on the ball and just popped out. Jones right there to recover.
What are your philosophy on involving the players with all the on-campus activities here today?
We have a tremendous university, and I think it would be a crime if we didn't get our basketball players and all the athletes involved in as many on-campus activities as we possibly can. We want the kids to be a part of the student body and not apart from it. I think it's really to our success to get the kids involved on campus.
Well, we look forward to watching it.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to the season.
Tony Baroni, new Aggie head basketball coach, up here with us. And another mark-off, delayed game with 9:23 to play.
Dave, I was going to see if he could do color on one just to prove that he couldn't do color. He's a great basketball coach, but hey, wait a minute now, coach.
You can't see the numbers. Color, you can't see the numbers.
That's my secret. I'm not telling.
That's what these other 19 guys are doing up here.
David Davis will kick it from his 43 to Todd Kitchen at his 12.
What you do is you come down, get yourself under control, catch the ball, and make sure your feet are down. That's the way it's coached.
They're going to mark it at the 2, but you still can't do it much better than that. Tony, again, thanks for coming up. We appreciate it.
Thank you, David. Thanks to Raycom for all you do for the Southwest Conference. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Well, Curly Hallman, as if he didn't have enough problems, backed up to his 2-yard line. For LSU, Brad Strome we see for the first time. Jesse Daigle started. Chad Luke was mixed back and forth off the bench. And now it is Strome's turn at the helm. There has been no comparison in terms of ground game. Last meeting, A&M 177. This meeting, 4
was GHT, right?
Narrowly avoids the safeties and delivers in the neighborhood of Wesley Jacob.
What a dangerous play. You're in your own end zone. Swarms back there. He sees an Aggie in his face. This is just excellent coaching. So you have backside containment. Now watch the backside containment. Don't let that man out of the pocket. Everybody does their job. That's the way defenses, they're made to be, they're designed to be run. Everybody does their job. And that time Coriat had backside containment. He's right out there, turns the quarterback in.
LSU miserable 2-12 on third down.
Well, if they don't pick up this one, you know where A&M is going to get the ball?
LSU 40. Strong will air it out. Marcus Carter in and out of his hands. He had double coverage, but had he looked that one in, he would have had a big play. Very catchable ball.
Yeah, and it should have been caught, but what a play there, what a recovery by Kevin Smith. When he actually was zeroing in on the interception, and the receiver turned in front of him, and he just went up and just kind of tapped the ball away with his hand, broke it up.
As if they needed it, the Aggies will get superb field position with Biggins awaiting Griffith's punt at the LSU 42. Griffith is as far back in the end zone as you can get.
You always rush this one. If your defensive team goes to rather rush you. Unfortunately, with a 45-7 lead, maybe you just go ahead and return it. But this is a standard rush because you're not kicking at the normal 15-yard depth.
Well, they pull up and play for the return. And there won't be one. Tiger roll, 48 yards on the effort by Griffith. Nice job. 7:55 to go in the game. We'll be back at College Station after this from Southwest Airlines. Aggies with 7:55 remaining take over at their own 49-yard line. This now the worst loss for LSU in a lot of years. You go back to 1988, they lost by 41 points, 44-3 to Miami of Florida. They lost 42-3 last year at Florida State. And we only thought we had seen the end of Drew Hill. He is back in again. The tailback behind Gross the fullback. And he eludes Mark Boutet's shoulder tackler. Picks up about 4 yards. Now, I really got to wonder now. I've seen him come off with a bad shoulder. He came back in. He's got 200 yards. Why put him back in again?
Well, that's a good question. Only R.C. Slovic knows why, but I would pull him out. I would question leaving him in there. You got a big game next week. You got Tulsa. They're off to a 2-0 start. I question why he's still in there. I think now's the time that you put every second team player that you've got out there, third team player, you get everybody game experience.
Meanwhile, major upset in Central Michigan, knocking off number 18 Michigan State. And out comes Hill again to yet another round of applause. And next week, here on Recon and Prime Network, the Aggies will take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Check your local listings. We'll be live from Skelly Stadium as the Aggies try to go 2-0.
Well, let me throw one on you. The most yards gained by a freshman in his first game of his career. Our statisticians have found it. Walter Abercrombie, Baylor versus Texas A&M, 1978, 19 carries, 207 yards. How's that for stats?
There you go.
We not only get great pictures from the truck, we get stats that are just mind-boggling.
Kirk McCarley digging that one up. Mark Boutet knocks down Rodney Thomas, and it'll be 4th down and 3.
Should have thought of Abercrombie. I just didn't realize he got that first game. First game his freshman year.
How hot is that guy? About 100 degrees on the AstroTurf. Probably 200 inside the Tiger suit. they're a sophomore from Arlington. The Rangers already told him.
Yeah, you snap the ball. When you get him to jump like that, watch this. When you get him to jump, wham, you snap the ball. I don't care if the snap counts odd or not. He's standing right there and looks at him. Look at Granger. You can almost say, like, oh, no, we had him.
William Kroll, the nose guard, was briefly offside. And you, again, have to be impressed with the presence of mind by the freshman in his first game for Jeff Granger.
Let me ask you a question here now. See if you don't remember this name. Name is Alan Thompson. Remember Wisconsin versus Oklahoma? First game of his career, Alan Thompson gained 220 yards. That was back in 1969.
Well, Greg Hill needs 8 more to tie that record. Davis sails this one way deep. So he's got the Southwest Conference record, 30 carries, 212 yards in his debut. And we've got 5:38 to play and an Aggie run. And let's review that again. What that does is set the NCAA record for yards gained by a freshman in the first game of his career, breaking Walter Abercrombie's 207 yards against A&M for Baylor, October 21st, 1978. The Alan Thompson record is yards gained in the first game of a career, but he was not a freshman because that was back in 1969 and freshmen were ineligible. But Hill has the freshman debut record in NCAA history. And Strom swings the ball out to Jermaine Williams, out of bounds, after 31 yards and minutes to play. Good day so far for the Southwest Conference, with Rice up 15 on Northwestern.
I thought you were going to tell me when Fred Goldsmith, what grade he was in. The last time they won that opening day.
High school.
High school.
I think it's a senior high school. The last time Rice won a non-conference road game. Knew they had the grit shot today. Stroll airs it out for Carl Hampton. 2 ball. Junior White had the coverage one-on-one. Another A&M Consolidated High School product from here at College Station. And it will be second and 10. Well, Curly Holman off the coaching tree, which you can trace all the way back to Bear Bryant. He played under Gene Stallings here. Stallings, of course, played here under Bear Bryant back in the 50s. He's all about discipline. He's all about being ready in the fourth quarter. Does not have the talent yet. James Jarrett on the swing pass on second down will be third about 3.
Well, I think you have to be fair to him also. It takes at least 2 to 3 years to get that talent in. We saw what happened to R.C. Slocum the first couple years when he took over for Jackie Sherrill. He had a hard time recruiting, but now he's got that the recruitment just is wonderful. The same thing is going to be true with Curly Holman. Young players coming in there saying, hey, coach, you've got no track record at LSU. I don't know if I want to go there. He's going to instill that confidence in the young players in his area to come into that school. So it's going to take 2 or 3 years for him to turn the program around.
Strom again airs it out, and Jacob cut one way, and the ball was thrown the other way. Miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver that time. Well, you got to feel that if Holman can do it at a school like Southern Miss, he can definitely do it eventually at a school that has the tradition and the resources of LSU.
Oh, yeah, he'll turn the program around. But it's going to take the moves like sending a punter home when he violates a rule. You've got to get discipline in a football team.
Gary Vincent, the third deep back A&M has used today, stands at his 31. And this one never gets more than about 10 feet off the ground. Out of bounds, easily Griffith's worst effort of the afternoon at the 29-yard line. Well, Holman, these first 2 games, has definitely been trying to make a statement about what LSU football in the Holman era will be about. It will be about discipline. Not only do you not sit on your helmet, for example, in practice, you don't even take your helmet off in practice, and you don't even unsnap the chin strap in practice. That's just an example of the type of mentality he's trying to instill there. And that's a big change from a loose camp, such as the one run by Bill Archsparger, and after him, Mike Archer. We see our 4th A&M quarterback of the day, freshman Steve Emerson. today, then Kent Petty, then Jeff Granger, and now Steve Emerson, who pitched to Rodney Thomas on first down. All the recruiting riches right there for the 66,000 to see here at Kyle Field today.
I bet you the last person thought he'd get to play today was Emerson. He said, I'm sitting over there, I'm 14th quarterback, I'll never get a chance to play.
Thomas took a blow helmet to helmet, still spun away for an extra yard or two. Emerson, a redshirt freshman out of Aldine MacArthur. The rest of the schedule, as we said, here on Radon Prime Network at Tulsa next week, back home against Southwestern Louisiana, at Texas Tech, that is always a battle. That's October 5th in Lubbock. And then look what they have back-to-back. At Baylor, which is a war, here against Houston. People predicted a 4-team race in the Southwest Conference this year. Texas and Houston already with non-conference defeats. That leaves both doing pretty well so far. Emerson throwing it behind the intended receiver, Chris Sanders.
One of the surprise teams in the Southwest Conference may be Baylor this year. Boy, they have gotten a great offensive line. I think they've got 3 or 4 all-conference preseason nominees.
Well, definitely one of the best defenses in the country. That's a secret to a lot of non-Southwest Conference fans. They're that way every year offensively. This year they have the offense to go with it, and J.J. Joe stays healthy at quarterback. Robert Strait making the transition from high school tailback to college fullback. A huge first team against UTEP last week. A lot of reasons for the Bears to expect a big game. Davis really nails this one. Kitchen back pedals to his 58 yards
in the air. Boy, did he drill that one.
Gotta be some whiskered lips in the stands today.
You told me they came prepared for that.
But it's the first game. They can't be in game shape yet.
Unless they worked out in preseason. I don't think anybody. I expected a game where A&M would come out and dominate the game, but I never expected the game to be this much domination.
And Stroh remains the quarterback. Kitchen with a first down at the 24. Speaking of carrying the Southwest Conference banner this afternoon, in Boulder, 10-7 Baylor in the third quarter.
That's a defensive struggle. That's that defense that you were talking about. 10-7, whole Colorado to 7 points.
Bears hang on. A lot of people will forget Texas, Mississippi State. Some may forget Miami, Houston today. Vincent Fuller on the carry. And then the other subplot this year is the farewell year for Arkansas. In comparison, now they don't look all that bad. Holding Miami the way they did the first half, especially very competitive before losing 31-3. And then a win over SMU last week for some time in the section. Second and 3. Stroll to Jacob for another LSU first down up near midfield. Terry Vincent made the tackle. Well, the Aggies enjoy any win over LSU. They will go to 5-1-1 here in College Station. For the longest time, they've never played in College Station. It's always in Baton Rouge. They discontinued the series between 76 and 85. It's been home and home since 86. R.C. Slocum 2-0 in Kyle Field against the Tigers' head coach. Strom slung back inside his 35. Sam Adams. I knew we'd get to see Sam Adams today. The #1 recruit in the state of Texas last year.
I don't think he had a chance to play today too. I thought he was too deep, but watch him, number 95. Good swim move, another swim move. That's why he had 20-some sacks his senior year in high school. I think it was 26 sacks senior year in high school.
Inside a minute 20. Jaquette out of the backfield. Slung down by Reggie Graham. Redshirt freshman, backup linebacker out of Leeds City. I would think if R.C. Slocum has a worry for next week, it's getting him back down to earth, getting him to realize they're not all going to be this easy.
I can promise you that's going to be the first thing he says when they meet, either Sunday or Monday. They're going to be out there and he's going to say, now wait a minute. We put that one aside, we look at the game films, we make our corrections, and we get right back down to work. I'm sure he's already thinking about that, what the speech he's going to make to them.
Kitchen brought the feed down inbound to the 42, another LSU first down in the category of much too little, much too late for the Tigers, who will fall to 0-2.
Well, Dave, we talked about those changes that they made, the wholesale changes. 11 starters didn't start this game from last week. And I think it backfired on them a little bit because they had 7 penalties where it was someone jumping offside, someone moving before the snap. They had just so much. There was no continuity at all on their offense to start the game, and it just started putting them in a hole right away.
And the other thing is they needed a big start. Well, you don't have Todd Kitchen in, hard to get a big start through the passing game. You don't have Mark Boutte in, hard to get a big defensive play. You never know when Boutte is going to knock down a pass, make a big sack from defensive end. Those were never possibilities because Holman was trying to make a statement about what it's going to take to be a week-in, week-out starter for his program.
Well, and also another thing he has to do is remain steady. Don't panic. I don't think Curly Holman will panic, but he has to keep the same philosophy that he's got. He's just, sure, he's burning some games, but he's looking at the long-term picture.
Trent Lewis, very strong back at the 48. As complete an effort as you could ever imagine in a season debut. And some of the best young talent in the country on display today for Texas A&M in a 45-7 runaway over LSU. A record-setting debut for Greg Hill. More yards than any freshman in a first game has ever gained in NCAA history. And with former coaching compadres, Slocum and Holman meeting in midfield. We'll have more from College Station, Texas. After these words, the Aggies